These are my best teams to use for Great League, and let's dive together into the first team showcase out of the total 4 with some amazing content, because not only we're gonna use meta teams today, but also we're gonna analyze their core breakers, what you should be afraid of, and of course what you are gonna be strong up against too. So let's see what we have going on here, because for the first team showcase we got the Metal Trash Can, as known as Red Steel, up in front, followed up by Vigoroth and Gligar, two very safe swaps for the current meta of Open Great League. And to be fair, this team is kinda weak on the fighting side up in front, especially up against the Medicham, because this Pokemon also can carry the move Ice Punch for our Gligar. However, you're gonna see that this is gonna be kind of a very soft counter to you. You can still manage to pull through this Pokemon, especially up in front with your Red Steel grabbing at least a shield in the process, while you do not even have to grab to use a shield of your own. To be fair, at the back you have Gligar, which can have kind of an even scenario, because that Ice Punch will be double super effective, but of course you can survive one, while your Aerial Aces will always outspeed to the charge attack. Also, you have the spammy Body Slammer, as known as Vigoroth, from the jungle, and Rock Slide now in this new season. You already know how good this Pokemon is from the last cup that we used it on Holiday Cup to be exact. And yeah, Vigoroth is an absolute beast for the Open Great League right now, with Rock Slide to threat those flyers. So overall, this team is looking pretty strong, has access to flying coverage, can counter even those fighters up in front, and at the back I really like Gligar as a safe switch for this cup, because ice typing will not be around that much for the Open Great League format, and even if it is, you still have some neutral coverage against your solid counters. Also, what I like about this team is that can get to those moves fairly fast. Even with Lock-on, you can get to those nukes in a pretty good pace. You have Bot Slam as a spam move, or even Aerial Ace to get there as fast as possible with your wing attacks. We just saw how good that Medicham can be on the core breaking part, and because a lot of people will not expect it that often up against them, you're gonna use it for the next team showcase up in front, able to destroy down those steel types and to protect your backline from that threat much effectively. I recommend going with the previously used moveset with Ice Punch and Psychic, because you will need some coverage against some certain threats, something like a Ghost type for example, on the long term of the battle. But what I like about this team is mainly the backline. You have a double water one, but a backline that can also not be afraid of those grass types. You have Ice Beam from your Azumarill, you have the poison moves from your Tentacruel, and you're gonna be just fine with that. I recommend also going with Sludge Wave over Blizzard. You might need Blizzard for some certain scenarios, but Sludge Wave here for the Open or Great League format is gonna help you much more. You have a bulky team here, both with Azumarill and Medicham in the same team as your main core, while Tentacruel will fit in as a solid safe switch. It is not the bulkiest Pokemon ever, Toxapex is much bulkier, but still Tentacruel is still gonna perform pretty well with those deadly charge attacks. And if you didn't know already, Scald also got a mini update this season, able to land the debuff much easier, so that's why I like this Pokemon as my pivot for this team. We're looking at a pretty strong team with one single core breaker, and that is of course the Ghost typing and the water one on the face of Jellicent. Jellicent not only will be able to destroy down any fighter, but also has access to resisting those poison moves that you're gonna throw with your Tentacruel, and even against that Azumarill, it is gonna perform pretty well. However, what I like about this team still, even up against the Jellicent, is that every single Pokemon from this list is gonna have a soft loss, so you're gonna be on a very good spot eventually with a little bit of synergy to play around Jellicent, and most obviously you're gonna get kind of a very good matchup towards the end of the battle with this particular team. Let's take a deep dive look on the next team showcase, because we're having something that I think is gonna work much better than any other team for the Open Great League format. You have to use this exact team as it is and to play with the following strategy. Use your Lickitung to draw out the fighter, try to finish it off with your Toxic Rock, and then your Bastiodon will have no no other weakness, I can almost guarantee that, so that you can destroy down whatever remains at the back and absolutely farm it down with your moves. Most likely they are gonna have something pretty weak to your Bastion and something pretty neutral, something like a Sableye, a Drapion, an Umbreon, something like it, and you're gonna be on a very good spot no matter what. I really like the new addition that Toxicroak is having to its moveset, and that is Shadow Ball, of course, because now it can get extra coverage against the ghost types, which previously was kind of a big problem for that Pokemon. Gets access to nuking down the psychic types, hence that Medicham, and now Toxicroak might actually be the better fighter in the meta. And speaking of Shadow Ball and the psychic types, yeah, we have a psychic type here as a core breaker, and that is a pseudo fighter as well. What I hate about the Oxys when I face it with my Toxicroak is its ability to get to those back-to-back Psycho Boots much faster, and that can be actually a mistake by the opponent, but still, if you manage to block 2 of those moves, you're gonna be just fine going on into the battle a little bit deeper. However, the third one is still gonna hurt, because if you didn't know already, Toxicroak is super weak to those psychic moves. With that said, this Pokemon, the Oxys I mean, has pretty good coverage against our Bastion, and of course has kind of an even scenario even against our Leaky Tank, so that's why I have it here as a core breaker. But you can already imagine how to manipulate this matchup towards your advantage. With a little bit of synergy, you can absolutely get there. We're heading now into the final team composition, trainers, and we're having a Swampert up in front, a Shadow Drapion at the back, oh my goodness, I love this Pokemon, and Mandibuzz as a closer. So let's see how this is gonna do, because we might not have the best outcome on this particular battle that you are seeing here, but still this team is gonna perform super well in the Open Great League format. So what I like about this line is that Swampert up in front can get there to those charge attacks fairly fast, has play even against its counters besides those grass types, and here is where the backline comes into play. You need to avoid those grass types, something like a Serperior for example, with your switch to Drapion, and still keep your flyer hidden at the back. Also, this team, by switching out to Drapion, can draw out something that your Mandibuzz is afraid of. So let's say something like a Galarian Stunfisk, something like a Bastion or a Carbink, so that then you can finish that Pokemon with the other two options, your Drapion or your Swampert, and you're gonna be on the optimal scenario to finish off whatever remains at the back as a true Dementor for the closing part. So this team has only one severe weakness, and that is either Walrein or that Dugong. So I have here Dugong because it's a much more meta relevant one, and of course this Pokemon with Drill Run can get there to the nuke on your Drapion, while the other moves, the Ice Arts and the Icy Winds, will hurt a lot your Mandibuzz, and of course the typing that Dugong is having is not gonna be that much appreciated by your Swampert. So about the shadow bonuses now, you do not need a shadow for your Swampert for this team to work, either a shadow or a non-one. I believe that a non-shadow is gonna perform much better for the extra bulk, it's gonna help you a lot. But about Drapion, you definitely need 100%, perhaps even more, the shadow bonus on that Pokemon. And that's mainly because Shadow Drapion gets the chance to two-shot down severe and critical threats that exist in the meta, something like a Skarmory, something like a Lantern, or even an Altaria. So this can be pretty good for your team on the long term of the battle. Also keep in mind that Aqua Tail will be the better option for you for the Open Great League format to keep as your second charge attack alongside Crunch, besides using something like a Sludge Bomb for example, because with Aqua Tail you can get much spammer, and that can help you a lot on some very critical and close battles that you're gonna get in between your matches, and of course that is gonna help you build your win towards your opponent. So that is gonna be all for today, trainers. Thank you for watching and for staying till the end. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, subscribe to the channel if you are new to my content, and with that said, I hope to see you all into the next one.